Voting is more than just a right, it's a powerful tool for change. Every vote counts and every voice matters. Voting protects your rights and helps to build a better future. And it's a way to hold our leaders accountable. Voting isn't just about the big elections either. Local elections impact our daily lives. It is important to study the candidates and the issues in order to make an informed decision. Election 2024. Don't sit it out. Your vote is your power. PR Connections Radio presents.
Well, I guess you can be very successful without one, and probably some people do. But I would not have accomplished anywhere near what I have accomplished without a mentor. I have had a number of mentors, and my whole life has changed dramatically. I went from going nowhere to having a business that operates all over the world. If you want to win in a big way, you want to get a mentor. It's almost like getting a direct pipeline from their mind to your mind, where you're gaining all their wisdom, all their experience, and all the studying that they've done over a number of years. And like that, you get it all in a short period of time. Are mentors important? Well, I'm going to tell you, mentors literally changed the course of my life. Let's take a look at what thinking into results is and what it could do for you, how it came about. You see, my life had changed dramatically. I went from earning nothing to earning over $1 million a year. And I was sitting one day and I was thinking, how did all this happen? Do you know, I was reading Think and Grow Rich. I was studying Earl Nightingale's material. But a lot of people have read those books and studied Earl's material. And they weren't accomplishing what I was accomplishing. So I had to ask myself, what am I doing so different? You see, I had been raised to believe if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. I was earning over $1 million a year, and I didn't think I was that bright. I was also raised to believe if you don't go to school, you can't win. Well, I hadn't gone to school. I went to high school for about 2 months. I didn't have a good job. I owned the entire company. If you want to be happy, healthy, and prosperous, it's all here. Thinking into results is going to show you how to get it. If what I've said really triggered something in your mind and you're thinking maybe, contact the certified PGI consultant. Hit the button, leave the information. Do yourself a favor. Sit down and talk to them about what this program can do for you. This very well could be the decision that will change the rest of your life.
Thank you, Bob. That was Bob Proctor, Proctor Gallagher. I'm Sid Maestri. I'm a certified consultant with the Proctor Gallagher Institute and with our Thinking in Results program. And Thinking in Results is about changing your thinking to change your results, and particularly going after something big, identifying your big goals. And that's one of the things we teach people. And today we want to talk about ABC goals, not the ABCs of goals, but A goals, B goals, and C goals. And today I have my guest, trained voice actor John Gage will be coming on. He's been studying with us for over 6 years and has a great story and is really in tune to going after big goals. So I believe John is coming on any moment here. There he is, the man of the hour.
For a half hour.
Okay, welcome, John. Welcome.
Thank you, Sid.
So we're talking about ABC goals today. Do you want to tell us something about an A goal?
Oh, well, everybody sees them a little differently. And the way I see an A goal, because an A goal is just basically a goal that you already know you can do. You're pretty much doing regular. It's like a to-do list. I need to clean my desk off today. I need, it's just basic things you need to do. I see a goal like I need to eat food to live. It's really just a simple thing you kind of do every day. It's really not a goal. It's more like a chore list. In a sense, it's just not, you don't get any growth out of it. It's just something you do every day to maintain. Because eventually, those C goals become an A goal, right? But you got to go from A to B. And what's a B goal?
John, before we get into the B goal, I think you had a story, an A goal story about the young man that wanted to buy
the Pontiac. I
That's
forgot about that. I even made a note of it too. That's funny. But yeah, because Bob was told a story once about he was talking to a guy because he did this, and the guy came up to him after his speech and said, "Oh, I have goals." He says, "Oh, great. Well, what are they?" He says, "Well, I want to buy a new Pontiac." And Bob's like, "Well, okay, a new Pontiac. That's a good goal. What kind of car do you drive now?" "Well, I drive a Pontiac." "Okay, so you own a Pontiac." "Yeah, but I want to buy a new one." "Okay, well, how long have you had the Pontiac?" 4 years." "Okay. Did you buy it new?" "Yeah, I bought it new." "So you've already done that." It's not really a goal because it's something you've already done. It's already in your habits of what you're doing. And so that's not what an A that's an A goal. That's not a B goal. It's not a C goal. It doesn't promote growth. It doesn't have any real form of difficulty. I mean, I got my truck. If I want to upgrade my truck, it'll be a few dollars more a month to upgrade it the next time I buy a truck. It's really not a big thing. So yeah, the A goals are something you've done, you can do, and you know you could do it. There's no doubt in your mind.
That's very good, John. We're going to go to the B goal. And B goals are ones that you've got a plan. You got to plan how to get it. You put a team together, you've got the resources, and if everything lines up, you're going to reach the B goal. Well, often there's no inspiration in that. A couple hiccups, and you just lose interest.
Right.
But we really want to talk about your favorite, the C goal, which I call the big enchilada.
Well, the seagulls are fun. And it's not the bird, it's a seagull goal. I just say it so fast, it sounds like seagull, but it's not. It's a seagull. And the seagull, well, it's that fantasy goal. Like a beagle would be, well, I'd like to go on a cruise. A seagull would be, well, I'd like to own 3 cruise ships and, book cruises for people from all over the world, and keep them safe. And that's a seagull, especially if you've never done it before. Yeah, there's people that have done it. That's like the voice acting. There are a lot of people that are successful at it, but I've never been. And it's always, everybody's like, well, that's just something that's so far out there. Well, if you can conceive it and you can believe it, you can achieve it. Because, these last 12 sessions we talked about all of those, having that conception of what you want to do. Then you have to believe it in the subconscious, which allows you to achieve it, which brings you to a point that once you've conceived it, you believe it, and you believe you can achieve it, you have to be committed to it. And sometimes that's hard to do, because life happens to be going along, but I haven't changed my goals. I've had to change my plan, but I've been committed to my goals. Commitment, I do have a little quote here from W.H. Murray from the Scottish Himalayan edition, if I could read it, if that's okay.
Please.
It's about commitment. It says, commitment. Until I am committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always in effectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment I definitely commit myself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help me that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in my favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which I never dreamed would come my way. Whatever I can do or dream I begin it. My boldness has genius, power, and magic. That
Thank
is
you.
extremely strong. What's that? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It is very, those seagulls are the ones, the seagulls, man, I keep saying seagull. Doesn't sound right. Are the ones that you get a lot of the naysayers. And unfortunately, our biggest naysayers are usually family members, that say, well, imagine if the Wright brothers had listened to the naysayers. Oh, you're crazy. You're never going to fly. What if they listened to them? Would we have airplanes today? If they hadn't tapped into that resource? If Henry Ford had listened to his scientists, would we have that all-powerful V8 that's in my nice, pretty truck that's down there? I mean, it's a pretty powerful thing, and we're lucky that they didn't listen.
John, you've reminded me of probably the biggest seagull that I had, and I don't think I've talked to you about this. Well, a few years back, I came across a novel that I really liked, and it's called The Dalai Lama's Cat.
Oh, you were telling me about that, yeah.
The story of a rescued kitten that grows up with the Dalai Lama, learns the Buddhist teaching, and then narrates the story of the lessons that she learned. And my journal, the day that I got the book, I wrote, started reading the Dalai Lama Cat, contact the author about a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Second night, I wrote it again. And it's a seagull because I've never made a movie. I didn't know anybody in the business.
Right.
I didn't know anybody that knew anybody in the business. But I sent an email to the author that I was interested in making a movie. We went back a little bit, back and forth. And to back up a bit, it was about 3 months. I got the book. I wrote I wanted to make a movie. And I didn't do anything for 3 months, but I'm thinking about it. I'm giving the book to my friends, getting kind of feedback.
Right.
And once I sent the email, he introduced me to his agent, his publisher. And they said, great, we have someone who wants to make the movie, the producer, that actually putting the team together. And they introduced me to Amber Entertainment, and we went from there. We got a script writer. Did not like it. Got a second one, and got one that we liked, and it's still in production. But the fact that and the people I met once I started doing that, I met Bob Proctor because of that project. First time I met him, I didn't have anything going other than I had sent an email and I had met somebody. No, I hadn't met anybody yet. That was it. I met him and I gave him my book. I said, Bob, I'm going to make a movie out of this. And all I had was an appointment. And the next week, had lunch with my new partner, and things went from there. And as you were reading in commitment, once you make a commitment, things happen. The right people showed up, connected.
Right.
In fact, I'm a spiritual warrior, and my new partner Eileen Maisel, we had lunch, gave her my card. I'm a spiritual warrior, and I've always said that. She sat up a little taller and looked me in the eye and says, "I'm a spiritual warrior too." And after that, our correspondence would always be, she was SWS, spiritual warrior sister, and I was SWB, spiritual warrior brother.
Nice.
And she did pass this past year.
Oh.
And I miss her terribly, because it was just, we were always on the same page.
That's helpful.
Okay. But getting back to you,
isn't there a process to help keep you committed? I mean, I believe you have that process that was talked about.
The 6 steps.
Grow rich, yeah. The 6 steps of how a goal should be achieved, especially a C goal.
Yeah, let me go over that. That's the book, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Great book.
One of my favorites. 1937, and over 100 million copies have been sold around the world in the last 90 years or so.
It should be taught in school. It really should.
That is an excellent idea. We can get somebody in on the school board to approve this book.
Yeah. Well,
so we have Napoleon Hill talks about six steps, and that is to know what you want, and when do you want it, and what are you going to provide? What kind of a service or goods are you going to provide to get that goal? And then you write out your plan. And your plan is wherever you're at right now. Mm-hmm. You write your plan, and I'm going to say with faith, you know it's going to change. John always likes to say, the goal is the same. The plan may change, but the goal is always the same.
It is.
And just I'm going to say a new thought that just came to me. A plan changes because what you were doing didn't work.
Right.
And you don't get discouraged. You look at it another way, another perspective, and try another way.
And there's a reason for the mastermind meetings too.
Yes,
that was the last session we had.
Okay. Let me throw this. The last thing on the 6 steps. What do you want? When do you want it? What are you going to give for it? What's your plan? Right. Then you write it out, paragraph, story type session, and then you read it twice a day, in the morning and at night, in front of the mirror in the bathroom, with emotion. I like to say with passion and unbridled enthusiasm. You do not reach goals without passion, without emotions.
You can't.
Your emotions are energy, and you're bringing energy of the level of what you want, and the universe responds. But I'll throw that back at you, John, because I know you've got some thoughts about this.
On the frequencies and the response. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking a lot about my health and how getting healthy is very important, and things start coming to you because you're trying to get healthy and you're thinking about different ways. Okay, I found a way that works for, say, weight loss, but I'm still feeling a certain way. I'm still tired a lot. Well, where do I get energy from? So you start researching different foods. And one of the things I discovered this last week was that we can actually get energy from the clothing we wear. Like wool and flax linen, they have apparently this massive healing property, either one of them. You can't mix them because they actually cancel each other out because they're actually reverse polarization. But they put off 5,000 megahertz of frequency, which heals the body and it has a lot of very good benefits. But part of the reason hospitals use linen is because of its healing properties. And other fabrics, say like polyester, has a megahertz frequency of 15, which is the same frequency we put off if we're very ill or have passed on. It's a very low, it's an unhealthy frequency. It actually causes more problems for us than any kind of benefit we get from it. It's really strange how you learn all these things. And I mean, they did a study in, what was it, 2011. They did a real thorough study on flaxseed linen and wool, and it's amazing what these particular fabrics will do for a person. You know, if you buy all linen sheets, they're not really that much. I was looking at the price here the last couple of days for linen sheets. They're really not any more expensive than, say, Egyptian cotton or silk. And silk actually has a frequency of 15. Organic cotton has a frequency of 100. And what they discovered with this study is that the frequency has to be 100 or more for it to be beneficial for our bodies, because our bodies put off at a healthy frequency of 75, I think.
Well,
it might be 100, but it's interesting what you start learning and starts coming your way when you start putting out there, okay, I'm ready for something new.
Well, John, I'm going to add getting some linen sheets. I'd like to get back to the seagull, make a couple of comments.
Sure.
We're looking at the seagull, and what's important is the journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who you become on the journey, going for your seagull, and knowing that once you reach your seagull, I like to say it's a foundation for you to do something bigger and better.
Absolutely.
In the past, I've had goals, and I didn't understand long before I met Bob Proctor. And I get to the initial goal, and I didn't know how to build on it.
May I say something on that?
Of course. That's what you heard,
John. Most people that can accomplish something, I've done sales for many years, and a very good salesperson usually has zero clue how they do it. They don't know how they do it, and they don't know how to teach how they do it. These big organizations, like, well, we've got this guy that's a super salesman. We're going to make him a manager, and he's going to teach everybody how to do it. And he gets up there, and it's like, how come your team is failing? Well, just put me back on the sales floor. That's what I know how to do. And it's really what they know how to do. It's because they don't understand it. And one of the first things I learned with thinking into results was Bob said, I didn't understand how I did this, and I needed to know. And that's what we're trying to teach people, is how to figure out why it's working. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I think I said that right. Why it's working, that's the right term. Yeah, that's the right term.
Let me jump into Andrew Carnegie for a moment. Because at the heart of what we're teaching, what Bob's teaching, is repetition.
Right.
And so Andrew Carnegie was the wealthiest person in the world back around 1900 with a steel company. And Napoleon Hill was a young cub reporter that was supposed to do a interview for an article about Andrew Carnegie. And they sat down, and Andrew Carnegie had a theory that, well, I say theory, that people that are very successful in all areas of life were dying, and no one knew how they did what they did. And
Right.
he had some thoughts about what success was, what he had done, and he gave Napoleon Hill a challenge that he wanted him to interview around 500 people that Andrew Carnegie would introduce him to find out what they did to be successful. And told him it was going to be taking 20 years to do it, and he'd have to support himself. Napoleon Hill had to pay his own way. And he asked Napoleon Hill to write down the statement. And the statement was, Andrew Carnegie, I'm not only going to match your achievements in life, I'm going to challenge you at the post and pass you at the grandstand. And I have a CD where he's describing, he threw his pencil down and says, I don't believe that. And Andrew Carnegie said, I know you don't believe that, but will you do this for me? Will you read that statement twice a day in front of the mirror for 30 days? So Napoleon Hill says, I did that. Well, he was kind of embarrassed at the beginning. His brother was in the next room, so he closed the door in the bathroom and didn't speak real loudly. But at the end of 2 weeks, he started to see some light. After 3 weeks, he could see the light at the end of the tunnel, as he put it. And after 30 days, he knew he could do it. And that's what he did. And that was the repetition, the goal in front of the mirror.
That's causing the belief. He conceived it. Carnegie believed he could do it. He had to believe he could do it. And once he could believe he could do it, he achieved it. But you have to believe you can do it. And sometimes that's difficult. A lot of people don't understand, it's like we talk about my health. They don't understand that in 2004, I weighed myself. I was wearing an 8X shirt that was so tight that it would cut the circulation off. So we finally found a scale I could weigh myself on. And it topped off at 950 pounds. And this was a cattle scale, so I know that it was accurate. So since 2004, I've gone from an 8X, I've gone from 950, I'm just under 450 now. My goal is 275. It's in sight. It will happen. Yes, it's taken a long time, but it took a long time to get there. And I don't want to take shortcuts, because if you take shortcuts, your success
Temporary.
is diminished. It's not as valuable to you if you take a shortcut and succeed as if you go through and you know that if you painstakingly do this the right way, it'll be forever. And you can teach others along the way. When you asked me if I'd start being a guest on your show, I was like, I can finally start teaching people how to think and show them that by taking the time and putting yourself through those things and doing the things that others won't, you will succeed at life.
John, I hate to cut you off, but we're going to have to wrap this baby up.
Well, I'll step off the soapbox now.
So I appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you.
I love your willingness to share these personal stories. And I'm not sure when I don't know when Armani's going to remove you from the screen, but thinkingresults.com. You can reach me there, schedule time to talk. And I appreciate your being with us on our show today. And we'll be back next week with another exciting lesson from Thinking in Results.
Voting is more than just a right, it's a powerful tool for change. Every vote counts and every voice matters. Voting protects your rights and helps to build a better future. And it's a way to hold our leaders accountable. Voting isn't just about the big elections either. Local elections impact our daily lives. It is important to study the candidates and the issues in order to make an informed decision. Election 2024. Don't sit it out. Your vote is your power. PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.